I really love this opening music. Like, I could listen to it. Malcolm, oh, idlale for 10 more seconds. It's Louise. Oh. Nasikhathi uyangena ubhiki, ubungaze show, ukukane. 10 after the hour 6, just about to go 11 on the mighty Metro FM. It's Sports That Amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ncube. For all of those watching on Facebook as well as on Twitter and a bit later on Instagram and on YouTube as well. Hey, welcome. So glad that you could be with us. What you just heard in the kickoff there is our coach, South African national team coach, Hugo Bruce, speaking about the omission of Lyle Foster out of the squad. Speaking to Mazolo Malefe there, had an interview with him a little bit earlier today. But also, a lot of you are asking, the top goal scorer in South Africa, who is South African, is not Peter Shalulile, of course, because that's Namibian, but it's Khanyisa Mayo. Why is Khanyisa Mayo not part of the squad? He answered that as well. I'm going to play you that in just a bit. Firstly, before we go into our Throwback Thursday, I need to address Peshan Dushan from the Val, Kabelo GP from Pretoria, as well as West Wakotimbisa. They called yesterday and they said, no, Andile, this is the answer of the quiz in order to win tickets to Bafana. We'll get into that. It's exactly 15 after the hour 6 on the mighty Metro FM. Timmy, can you call one between Peshan, Kabelo, and West, please? We've got to call one of those guys. Between Peshan Dushan from the Val, Kabelo GP, and West. Can you please call one of them? Do we have a number? We must have a number because I know we've done it before. But before that, a lot of you are asking me, what did Hugo omit, not pick, not call up into the national team? The leading goal scorer as far as South Africans are concerned, right? Well, Mazolo Malefe did ask him. This is what he had to say.
You have to make decisions and you have to make choices. And sometimes the choices are difficult also for me. Should I take Mayo, or should I take Saleng, or should I take another striker? Yes, you take a little bit the opportunities from what can he not, what can the other one. And at the end, yes, it was Mayo we didn't choose. But that has nothing to do with the fact that he didn't show enough on pre-camp, or that because it was his end of the season was very good. He started scoring again with his team. But yes, sometimes you can't really explain why you choose that player or why we don't choose that player. And again, the choices are starting being difficult sometimes. And he deserved it to be with us, but yeah, I can only select 23 players.
There you have it, guys. I don't know if that's a satisfactory answer that you would have expected or wanted, but that's Hugo Bruce speaking, of course, about the omission of Khanyisa Mayo. A little bit earlier, you heard him speaking about Lyle Foster as well, saying that to the coach. Vincent Kompany called him and said, I need him to start pre-season with us. I need him to get ready from the Premier League. So that was the reason for that there. Our main story today, before we speak to, I'm not sure who's going to call, Kabelo GP, West from Timbisa, Dushan Peshan from the Val. One of you guys need to give us a call. Did somebody call? Who is it? It's Kabelo GP. Kabelo.
Brother, yes. You know, I don't carry water in my mouth. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother. No wahala. Are you well?
My brother, I did well because I did not even sleep, because remember this day I follow them. When they say play is at 7 o'clock, I'm there. 5 o'clock, I'm there. But when you say the time is wrong, I say, okay, if I go there and when I enter there, they say the match is finished, I'll come to the SABC.
Well, you know what? Timmy was wrong. The time that Timmy, and he's complaining, they're saying, why am I throwing him under the bus? He was wrong, Kabelo, because you were right. It is 5 o'clock, not 4 o'clock is what Timmy had it. So yourself, we're supposed to run the competition for 3 days, giving away double tickets. So we're not going to do that. We're going to give it to the 3 winners yesterday. West from Timbisa, you've won some tickets. Please give us a call. Kabelo, you've won some tickets. Thank you very much. And Peshan Dushan from the Val, you've all 3 won tickets to go watch Bafana play Morocco on the weekend.
Thank you, sir. When do I collect them? Do I have to enter aeroplane, or do I have to drive to...
I mean, you're coming from all the way from Lagos, so you're going to have to take a private jet. But I'm going to put you back to Timmy, and Timmy will take over and give you the details.
Brother, thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
I want to thank you, sir.
See, that's why on Monday, when we say the 3 not always so wise men, we must include Timmy now. because he's not always so wise either. Guys, it's 19 after the hour 6. Thank you so much for being a part of that. We're done with that now. We've got to get into the program of the day. And the program of the day is a Throwback Thursday. Throwback Thursday that speaks about a man that, for many of us, has done the most heroic things. The Comrades Marathon is coming up in, 2 weeks? In a couple of weeks. We're going to speak to a man that's conquered it before. But not only that, not only has he gone and conquered the Comrades Marathon, he's gone on to do other great things in sport, triathlon, and so many more. And then he met a fate in his life that goes to prove that it doesn't matter how much good you do in the world, there's always going to be somebody for their own selfish needs and gain who will try end it all. He came within an inch of losing his life. What is the perspective from that? How has he then looked at life since then? From triumph to now. It's your favorite show of the week, Throwback Thursday on Sports Not Amplified with Andile and the mighty Metro FM. The other week, we told an emotional and courageous story of Sarah Khumalo. Last week, we told the story of the beginning of Banyana Banyana, the very first ever game of Banyana Banyana, a very emotional story when those that played that game came here to tell us about it. We celebrated 30 years of Banyana Banyana. We spoke to the first ever captain, Anthea Childs, and vice captain, Desiree Ellis. But tonight, we go back 32 years ago when Comrades winner Nick Bester won the Comrades Marathon back in 1991. It just, maybe, like, when I think 1991 is 32 years ago. Incredible. Incredible. Now, Nick Bester started running the Comrades in 1985, finished 67th when he first started in a time of 6 hours, 38 minutes to earn a silver medal. He finished 25th in 1987. His third attempt saw him earning his first gold medal when he finished third. The following year, he followed up with a fourth position in 1990, but it was 1991 that he eventually triumphed, like I said a little bit earlier. Mark Hastings sending me a message saying, did you mean, from triumph, what is it? Let me read it. That's because Mark is a listener of the show, and we always appreciate Mark Hastings on this show here. From triumph to tragedy. No, Mark. From triumph to now. That's what we want to know. From that triumph back in 1991 to now, everything in between that's happened. Ladies and gentlemen, please, former Comrades winner, 1991 winner, Nick Bester now joins us on the line. Nick, it's always a pleasure to speak to you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening, and thank you for hosting me.
Every time this time of year comes around, every year when June comes and, the Comrades Marathon beckons, we start thinking about people such as yourself and what you've done. But can you believe 1991 was over 30 years ago now?
Yeah, it's a long time ago, but actually it doesn't feel like it. It feels like the other day. I can see clearly in my mind how, I crossed the line and I won the race. I worked hard to win the race. And yes, time flies, 30 years ago, and there's still 5 hours, 30 minutes. I didn't win in 5:30. I won in 5:40, but that year, there was roadworks around Pinetown, and we had to take a detour. So the Comrades was close to 90 kilometers. It was one of the longest down runs in that time of my career, and that was great to win. But I can tell you now that my 3 second places after I won is still standing out as my better performances, because we were racing against international athletes. Russians were here, the Americans, Europeans, everybody came in, because I see what magnificent race the Comrades Marathon is, and everybody came to South Africa to come and run this race. So my win was great, but I see my 3 second places behind Alberto Salazar, behind my friend Dmitry Grishin, we call him the Red-Nosed Russian, and behind Sal Matthias as better runs than when I won, because we actually ran faster times per kilometer.
But to talk to me, because I want to be in your picture. You say you still see it in your mind and it's still vivid and it feels like yesterday. I want you to take me to that day as you see it in your mind. You the night before, all the way to when you crossed the line. If you were telling the story as if you were the movie narrator of the story, how would you tell it, Nick? Talk to me about it. Take me through the paces of and put me in the shoes of Nick Bester that evening.
Okay, let me tell you, I was very old school. I'm still old school. The athletes I'm coaching, we believe in old school. And I can just tell you what I ate the day before I won Comrades. That is now the previous day. Say the Comrades was on Sunday. The Saturday morning, I had a normal English breakfast, bacon and eggs. The Saturday, I had scalp chops and mealie meal, putu pap. And that evening, we had brown rice and bully beef.
And what?
That was bully beef.
Oh, okay, yeah, bully beef, yeah.
That was what I ate. And the next day, I just put on my racing shoes, and I know I'm going to win this race. I took the lead with 45 k's to go, and I never looked back. I was so positive that I'm going to win. You know, I believed 110% in myself that I'm going to win. Shoe-wise, I still got the shoes that I won the race in. If you compare it to the shoes of the guys that are using today, it's just a huge improvement in shoes. So we still run, with flat racing shoes without the spring and these days the Nike Zoom and the Nike Vaporfly and the Next Percent. And yeah, so we were old school, but we just believed in hard training and be prepared yourself to be able to match the guys that you're going to run against.
Cheers. And then there you are. So who were some of the competitors that you thought were strong competitors that year? Who were some of the people around you that you thought, if I'm to lose this, it would probably be to this person or that person?
Well, those years it was the South Africans. There was not a lot of internationals in the race. And obviously, the king of the Comrades, Mr. Bruce Fordyce, was the big threat. But honestly, that year, I believe I could beat him because a month before the Comrades Marathon, both me and him been invited to come and run an 8-kilometer race in Nelspruit. It started 2 o'clock in the afternoon, stinking hot. It was hilly, it was tough, and I ran for that 8-kilometer. I came third behind Mick Matuli. I ran 24 minutes and 35 seconds, and Bruce came fifth. And I see, okay, I've got this man. I can beat him. So I believe I could beat Bruce, although he was the best Comrades runner that was ever produced, and he still is the king of the Comrades. But that year, I believe, and I believe in myself, I could beat Bruce. He's the main contender.
But why? Why did you have that sort of belief that year? What made you believe that much that you could beat, the greatest to ever do it, the man that the world was watching at the time?
I can tell you why. I started making use of mental energy and mental preparation. I prepared myself mentally for each and every race from that win and after that win to be in perfect condition. We use different imitations. I work with a psychiatrist, and that year when I won Comrades, I saw myself as an eagle and as strong as a beast. I built in a red pipe and a blue pipe over the Comrades route. That is now not really, but in my mind, I saw a red pipe running from the finish line to the start line. And that red pipe was connected with my daughter that was at the finish line. And as soon as I experienced pain, she was pumping a red fluid through the red pipe, and the pain was going into my toe and killing the pain in my body. And then I also built in a blue pipe. As soon as I need power, that blue pipe was attached to my son at the finish line, pumping strength into my legs. So I was playing mental games. So the mental preparation for that race was perfect. If you want to see also for every race, I use a different mental preparation. So if you want to watch, maybe go to YouTube and watch my 1997 mental preparation for the race. You will understand what I'm talking about. 1997, when I came second to Charles Matthias, I saw myself as a kamikaze pilot. And kamikaze means you can hit your target. It doesn't matter if you die or not. And that was my attitude in 1997. Although I didn't hit the target first, I hit it second. That was my mental preparation. So my mental preparation was starting to kick in, and I believed in myself, and I used different methods. In the 100-kilometer World Championship that I ran in Belgium, it was 10 kilometers times 10 times. And it was very boring, that 10 kilometer, each 10 kilometer got 100 turns. You had to run around the tree, you had to run through a castle, then you're on dirt road, then you're on tar road, then you're on grass, then you're on, and the mental preparation for my 100 kilometer, 10 times 10 kilometers was very easy. I went to my psychiatrist and asked him what we're going to do. He told me, Nick, what do you see? What is your problem in the race? I told him, yes, to run 10 kilometers, the same 10 kilometers 10 times is very boring. I say, let's make it easy. The first 10 kilometers you run, everything you see is blue. If you look at the person, they blue. If you look at the road...
Is this what you're doing in your mind now as you're running? Because I'm finding it so fascinating that you start having these mind games that you play with yourself in order to keep yourself going.
That's it. And then the next 10 kilometers immediately change to red. So it's totally a different 10 kilometers. Now the trees are red, the people is red, the road is red. And then orange, and then purple, and then orange, blue, or what even. So you're playing mental games because your mind is very strong. Your body is also very strong, but your body will only go where your mind wants your body to go. So you must believe. If you believe, your body will follow. Your body will go. Your body, you don't die easy. A human is very strong. You don't die easy. So if you believe in yourself and you want to kill yourself, it's very difficult to run and kill yourself by just running hard. And the only thing that stops you is the pain, is the uncomfortable feeling. So forget about that. Put it out of your mind. Let your mind rule the body, not the other way around. But people normally, if you do the other way around, as soon as you're experiencing pain, you back off, you cut down. But if you do the other way around, you tell your mind, tell your body, pain is nothing. Then you will succeed.
Nick, you ran the Comrades. I mean, when you started, I think your first one was in 1985. During a time when the country was still quite divided, quite segregated by law and by government, what was those times like in South Africa? Can you paint a picture of what that looked like in South Africa to have a race as big as the Comrades during and under the apartheid era?
Yeah, no, it was difficult, and I felt sorry for the guys. Luckily, when I started running, everybody were allowed to run, blacks and whites and women. And the previous years, also women was excluded from a Comrades Marathon. This Hayward lady was the first lady ever who attended Comrades without the approval of the race. But luckily, when I started to run, it was open to all races. There was still there was still a disadvantage to them. And now what happened now? You can just see everything turned around. At the moment when I'm speaking to people, I'm telling them white men can't run. Look at the Comrades. It is our black runners that are carrying the flag and they're flying the flag and winning the race. Luckily, after my wins and after my performances, I get involved in the sport and administration way and a coaching way, and now I'm just glad that I can plow back and plow back in everything that I learned over the years. And plow back to our runners like Tete and Edward and Dan Mishalwa and Gerba Stein and all the people that I coached and helped to win the Comrades Marathon, including Caroline Bosman and all the people that I worked with.
Let's take a break. When we come back, Nick Bester is with us. He won the Comrades Marathon back in 1991. The Comrades, of course, will be run this weekend on Sunday. We're going to be seeing the 11th, yeah? The 11th is on Sunday. We're going to be seeing the Comrades Marathon being run. I just wonder, is the Comrades, because I remember, but it was largely to do with the fact that it was on the SABC. We'd all wake up in my house early on that Sunday morning, from as far as 5, 6 a.m. we're up and we'd watch the Comrades. And, maybe in the middle there, you could go play or go see something or go to the shops, but you'd definitely make sure that you'd home by the evening again to see those that are finishing. The most exciting times is the first finishes, number 1, 2, 3 in the men's. Then you got to wait for the women's 1, 2, 3. And then now you wait to see who's going to make the cutoff time. That was the excitement about the Comrades Marathon. I'm not sure if you're still watching, if you're still involved, if you're still in love with South Africa's race. It's the Mighty Metro FM. It's exactly 18:38. Taking your calls from 18:45. We're telling the story of Nick Bester, who won the Comrades back in 1991. He joins us now on the line. Nick, I'm just wondering, when you win the Comrades in 1991, what are you winning?
There was no prize money at that time.
Zero, nothing.
0.00. But your sponsors made up for that. And I went on to air and I had a special news conference at the Elangeni Hotel the next day, whereas I told the press that this is not correct and the way that they should do it. I told them I will never run Comrades again if there's no prize money. And then at that stage, the board of the Comrades was very adamant and said, this is Comrades Marathon. There will be never, ever prize money in Comrades. I will never forget their words. But then we all saw what happened as one of the biggest paid races in Africa. But it's not only the prize money that counts. It is your credibility. It is the sponsors that's flocking to you and come and get you endorsements and incentives. And this is also what we're doing at the Nedbank Running Club. We've got great incentives for our runners doing well from all our co-sponsors like Nike and Bavaria, Biogen, Future Life, Thirsty Water. They support the guys.
But
pay them
and I hear you, Nick.
Retainers.
And I hear you, like you're going into this in hopes that your sponsors are going to make up for it. But the actual race, the grueling 90 kilometers in 1991 had absolutely nothing. So why do people run it? Why were all those thousands of people doing it? You pay them so you can run the race. Why do people do it?
You have to pay in. You know, that race is just an incredible race. As I'm speaking now, I'm getting goosebumps because it is just you want to be there. You want to be in that race. You want to experience the atmosphere. You want to have the feeling. So you pay to be part of the race. And that is why thousands, how many people are entered in this year's Comrades? 17,000 to 18,000 people. That's why they pay for it. If you look at a person on a starting line and you see that same person at 60 kilometers, it's a different person. It's a different look. You can see this guy has gone through pain and has gone through endurance and has gone through a hard time. And then afterwards, also, you're a different person if you complete that race in time. So that is the reason why you're doing it. And that is the reason why I did it in 1999 without being rewarded with any prize money. I was still happy to win the race.
Yeah,
so
no,
it was enough.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And then, I mean, that brings you into the spotlight. Now we know who Nick Bester is. Now the whole of South Africa's celebrating you, and you go on to run it, I think, 15 times all in all in your entire career. But Nick, it was, and I love to tell, you know, our entire stories so people know our entire stories and what we've had to overcome. Because you had to overcome yourself and be strong enough to win this thing against all odds when you're running against some of the best and one of the best to ever run it. In 2020, though, you had to overcome something else.
Yeah, no, it was a difficult part of my life. You know, when I won Comrades, it was fine. I had to overcome competitors. But in 2020, I have to fight for my life. In August 2020, I was attacked in the mountains. I was training for a race they called the Battle of the Sports. It was a Springbok rugby team against the Bafana soccer players, against the cricket players, against the top Comrades runners like myself, Bong Musa, David Gatepe, and we were in a team. You have to pull a cart 200 meters far, 200 kilometers far, with all your water and your food and stuff on it. And I was training in the mountains for that when I was attacked by 3 people with rocks and with knives. They tortured me for 2 hours. I was in a state. They hit me out a couple of times with rocks behind my head that I was unconscious. They broke my ribs, they broke my jawbone, they broke my eye bone. I had several lashes on my head and on my legs, on my hands, and they tied me up in a mountain and left me there. When they left me, they actually, one of them stand on my head and they jump on my head. And they took my cell phone with my credit cards and I gave them my PIN numbers. And they tied me up. They tied my hands behind my back and they tied my feet together. And they left me there because I was unconscious. They want to leave one guy with me. But I think they quarreled a bit because I couldn't understand the language. And I could see that this guy doesn't want to stay behind because he was afraid he's not going to get money. They took my cell phone and my credit cards. They draw a lot of money out of they buy a lot of stuff with my credit cards. But I came by and I thought by myself, I must get off this mountain as quick as possible, but because I know they will come back. I know that they're going to get just going to check if my pin numbers is the correct numbers and if it's working. So imagine yourself, your feet is tied together, your hand is behind your back, you're lying on your back, and you must come down a mountain. It's a very high mountain, about 400 meters high. The Magalies mountain race in Pretoria. So what I did is, and that I think my strength and my endurance helped me that day. I have to duck my heels in the ground and then draw my body forward because my hand is tied behind my back. And then duck my heels in the ground, draw myself forward. Also took my clothes off, most of my clothes. I've got no shoes on. And that was very tough to get from a mountain in that way. And I was lucky because they did win back because when we went back, we saw them there. My son went back and he saw them there. So they went, but they came back, and then they also 2 weeks after I've been attacked there, they murdered 2 people at the same spot. But in any case, at that stage it was COVID, so I was in intensive care, lying in hospital. And what's strange was we were a mixed award, 2 women on the other side of the room and 2 men on this side of the room. And there was 2 ladies and 2 men, the 2 of us. And the second night, the guy next to me died. So I was alone on this side. And it was COVID, so you can't have any visitors. You don't have a cell phone. My cell phone was stolen. And so it was a very tough time in my life. I lost my smell and I lost my taste. I can't taste and I can't smell because my olfactory nerves. People who know about olfactory nerves will know what is that. It's broken in my head. So I can't smell or taste anymore. But that is lucky. That's nothing because I'm alive and I'm going forward. I still do what I love to do. And I'm still involved in the running. I still help a lot of people, a lot of runners to achieve their goals.
Jeez, Nick. You know, it's
just stuff.
And we're grateful for life. You know, we're grateful that there's still a Nick that can still pass on everything that you've learned over the years. But South Africans need to know about their heroes, because what I think is important in telling this story the way that we have, Nick, is to say you've seen the man at his best. He's had to overcome so much to be Nick Bester, be alive and be here. It's a story of triumph, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I can also tell you, like I told you now when we started the conversation, a man's body is very, very strong. Your body is very strong. When I was 7 years old, I was in a motor accident where my father died. I broke my neck and I had I broke all my ribs. So I still got, on the one side, I haven't got the pec muscle. The pec muscle on my left-hand side is disintegrated of the accident. And I overcome that as well. That was when I was 7 years old. And then after that, I became a Springbok triathlete. And triathlon means you must canoe. You must use your arms. And with that weak arm, I can call it weak arm, that I disintegrated in the accident, I'm still become a Springbok triathlete. So you can, if you believe in yourself and you work hard, you can achieve anything that your mind wants you to achieve. But if you disbelieve, if you doubt the 1%, you will never achieve what you want to achieve. So the main thing is use your mind. Be strong in the mind, and then the body will follow.
Tell me about Tete Dijan. What kind of relationship do you guys have?
Oh, it's great guys. They call them the Happy Bunch. All those guys are training together from Rustenburg. Tete, Edward Mutibi, Joseph Manyede, Johannes Magetla, Galarat Singh Mukhu. All of them are just great guys. They're training together. They love each other. But on race day, they're not enemies, but they race each other. We also got other training camps. This year, we've got 6 Comrades training camps going in South Africa. We've got the 2 Concorbis training with our coach, Pio Mapolo King in Clarksdorp. We've got a couple of guys training in Lesotho. We've got KZN guys training up in Goulburg. And we've also got a small training camp in Cape Town. So this year, I'm worried. I think we're going to dominate the Comrades Marathon more than last year. But you still have to win the race to be the hero.
Listen.
You must win. You must win. We call it victory or death.
Listen,
If you don't win, then
Tete,
it doesn't matter.
Tete heard that we're doing this show, right? And he said, hey guys, please.
Tete is there, but he's got competition.
He said to us, hey, listen, man, give me a chance to say something about this, man. Have a listen to this, Nick. This is Tete.
Yeah. Tete is
Hi,
a
Nick.
great
This
guy.
is Tete Rijana. Thank you for everything that you have done for me. At least my life has changed since I've joined the team, Nedbank team. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you have done for me.
Andile.
Oh, man, Nick there. I think he's got a lot going on at the moment, but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, hopefully he would have settled a little bit. And still taking your voice notes, of course. To the winners, please do make sure that you get a hold of us. Bashan, Cabello, and West. 086 000 2160. WhatsApp on 060 552 7303. It's exactly 6:51. We're in conversation on the Sports that Amplified with Andile, with Nick Bester, former Comrades winner. He won it in 1991, ran the race over 10 times, and of course he now is a man that teaches runners, and he's got clubs that he runs with young people, including last year's winner in Tete Dijana. Nick, your son, Sean Nick.
Yes.
Did he ever run?
No, he's a professional cyclist. He had a contract in Portugal. He was cycling a professional cyclist in Portugal for 5 years. He came back to South Africa. He won medals at the South African Cycling Championships when he was a junior. He was a top mountain biker, then a road cyclist. Then he went to Europe to become a professional road cyclist. He came back and he did all the cycling coaching courses in the world.
Wow.
He did the first one in South Africa, then he went to the second one in Kenya, then he went to Switzerland, and now he did his honors that he achieved, and he's now one of the highest qualified cycling coaches in South Africa, but he's still competitive. This last weekend was the Magalies Monster mountain bike race, where he finished third overall, so he's still strong and cycling. But his passion is coaching cycling and cyclists, and that is what he's doing.
We spoke to him, and he wanted to say something about his father. Please have a listen to this, Nick. This is from your son, Sean.
I just want to congratulate my father in all of the great work that he's done over the years in the running fraternity, as well as other sporting disciplines where he's helped a lot with development and getting the sport to where it is now. And keep up the good work, Dad, and we all love you. Have a nice day.
And
yeah, that's great.
Amazing, huh?
Amazing. Yeah, no, he's a great sportsman as well. And
is it getting you a little bit emotional there, Nick?
Yeah.
Nick,
correct.
I'm gonna do something now, because I feel like people like you, and you don't owe it to anyone, but you've showed us that you must pass it forward. Sometimes you pass it forward even when you've got nothing to gain, because you love to see the greatness of not only the sport, but of other people doing amazing things. There's a young club that was formed here in Johannesburg, if my memory serves me correct, of runners that are dedicated, that are inspired by people like yourself and what you did in 1991 and what you continue to do before and after that. They call themselves the Fat Cats Club. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah, I know the Fat Cats. It's a great club. They're growing by numbers.
They really are. I've got Cindy Nkomo here from the Fat Cats. And from your point of view, from having done the clubs thing, and you continue to do it, and you do it so well that you've had a winner, if you were to advise Cindy and the Fat Cats, if you were to say to anybody out there that's listening at the moment that wants to start a club, that wants to keep fighting and running, what would your advice to them be?
I think, first you need the numbers. You need people that are the backbone of the club. That is the social part of the club. That's very important, because running is hard, running is pain, and after what you heard the words, you want to socialize with other people. And then, of course, yes, if you really found talent in your club, like you can see this guy or the girl will be a top runner, help them to achieve their goal. Time trials is a very important part of the club, because that's where the people meet each other and mingle. And just go to the races, the important races. Is so nice to come down. I remember the first time I came down to the Comrades Marathon. We were out 6 guys in a car, tried to save money because we didn't have money at that time. So we saved money, come 6 down, come to the beach, play touch rugby the day before before the Comrades, and that's what you mustn't do because we were so stiff that we were so stiff the next day when we started the race. But in any case, and that's a camaraderie they build up in the club. Yeah, they're going well. Fat Cats. I look at them and they're growing in numbers. They're doing that. It looks like they're doing the right thing at the moment, and they will definitely grow in South Africa.
Cindy.
Hi, Andile.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks, and how are you?
You know, we're taking a page out and we're saying in order to see the greatness in those that are yet to come, you need to look back and look at those that paved the way. Nick Bester has done what you guys are attempting to do. He started clubs. He's run the Comrades and won it himself. Anything you'd like to say before we talk to you and the Fat Cats about Nick Bester? Or to Nick Bester, because he can hear you.
Yes, so first I'm really honored to be part of this conversation because I've watched Comrades since I was very, very little. Never thought I would obviously participate. But I've also, in my journey of running and just loving the sport in general, have been inspired by just how Nick himself has developed from a runner to a club manager, and obviously one of the biggest clubs, if not the biggest club in South Africa, and the great work that they've done. And you can only do that if you have passion and you've got a vision. And I think Nick has that, to the T. I know they've been training really hard down in Dowstrom with his team, and I wish him all the best. I sincerely think that they will be dominating this Comrades. They know their route. I mean, they've done this over and over again, and they've got young guys now that are coming in, which I call the new generation of Comrades, and I wish them all the best. And just to say that I think Nick is not celebrated enough in South Africa, and I would hope that in a few years' time, in terms of reward and recognition at a national level, that the likes of Nick Bester will feature very strongly because they have changed the landscape of athletics in this country, and I think that deserves recognition on its own. And all the best once again, Nick, and we are really inspired by the work that you do.
Thank you, and good luck to your club as well.
Thank you so much.
Speaking of your club, Cindy, what can we look forward to from you guys this Sunday? Is it a fact house? Are you going to be having some leaders that are leading the crew? Are you expecting anybody to place?
Well, I think for us, really, as a young club and evolving, we look to set our own personal best. Yes, we do have guys that have huge ambitions, and we're definitely putting support to ensure that they meet their targets. We do have guys that are really, really going for that sub-7. Most of our gents are going for the silver medal. And our ladies are also having their own personal targets. But Comrades is an event where you basically live your dreams, and with that, we are really set to just ensure that each and every one of our members get all the support that they deserve, and especially, Andile, for our women. We do know the numbers in terms of women versus men, and I think we continue on that message to ensure that we try and bring many women to the race as possible. And I think now that we have gone past COVID, we'll intensify that and visit that vision of really taking 100 women in the next few years to line up for Comrades Marathon.
Sinikomo Fatcast, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, Nick. All the very best. We hope that all your runners place this weekend, and we'll keep checking on you because, like Cindy says, we do think that it's time you are honored in a way that all of us can see, recognize, name a street after you, name a little mountain there in Cape Town after you. Something needs to happen. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Nick Bester.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's exactly a minute about to go 2 after the hour 7 from all of us here on Sports That Amplified. Please, Deshaun, Kabelo GP, Weston Timbisa. Let's go to the game together. Pera, and me.